And away we go. It's the DFS Early Bird presented by Awesemo.com. Dan Strafford, Dave Lochran, along with you on this Wednesday morning, a 12-game Major League Baseball slate. Hell yes, we're still talking Major League Baseball, even if neither of us want to. But Dave, how the hell are you doing?
Not bad, man. I'm going to Lambeau for the Eagles game.
No way.
Yeah, I thought I told you.
No,
I guess not.
We don't talk anymore. You ditched me on the podcast, and we don't talk anymore.
I didn't ditch you, man. I got shipped off elsewhere. But yeah, going to Lambeau with my neighbor and a couple friends.
That's
so
awesome.
We're going to head out Wednesday morning and then head home on Friday. But should be an experience. It's a pretty storied venue we're going to.
So what I understand is that Lambeau Field sits situated in a neighborhood. So you're literally like amongst people's houses. So
Yeah.
I would like the street address of the lawn you pass out on after the game so I can look it up on Google Maps after the fact.
No, man, I'm controlled.
I
Always.
know you're controlled. It would be me who'd be passed out on the lawn. Let's be but that's
if
awesome.
if I do, I'll ping you my GPS my coordinates.
I'll chop her in. That'll be fantastic.
Yeah, there you go.
That sounds amazing. One of those destinations as a sports fan, even if you're not a huge football fan, must be a real checkbox on the list. I once called a college football game at Notre Dame, and I actually despise Notre Dame, but being able to step into that stadium, touchdown Jesus, the whole deal was an awesome experience. So Lambeau, I'm sure, will be up there as well. Enjoy. That is awesome to hear. So you're heading out Wednesday morning. Good luck. Godspeed. Are you a jersey wearer? Are you gonna wear an Eagles jersey or?
Yeah, I don't wear jerseys like to the grocery store.
Right.
But I will definitely wear a jersey to a game, no question. Yeah, you got to. Around this way, you got to. But the times of wearing jerseys out wherever is far behind us.
And to hit on a topic that was in broadly on social media, thoughts on the gentleman who was catching babies and comparing himself to Nelson Aguilar?
It was incredible, and I also thought that Aguilar's response was equally impressive. Actually, you alerted me to both of those. So
yeah, I'm on Twitter a bit too much. I think people are aware of that. So that might be why I was able to make that happen. But yes.
No, it was hilarious. But so was Aguilar made the right move there. That was a stand-up move, and it's hard to stay mad at him until Thursday.
Until he drops another pass. Yeah, exactly right. Well, I wish you the best of luck. We have baseball to talk about here. I will remind everyone we're brought to you in part by Yahoo DFS. They still have MLB contests over there. They also have their baller tournament, which dropped to 500K. I'll look it up momentarily to make sure I have the right take on it. But they are working on right-sizing that and getting the right amount of entries, the right amount of cash involved. Typically, it has been management-free. That fluctuates from time to time, but check them out as an alternative to DraftKings and FanDuel, another place to build your bankroll. We have lots of content available for you over on Awesemo.com. We, in fact, have a free Yahoo-specific football show on Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, so you'll want to check that out. All of that available through Awesemo.com, also for free over there on YouTube. So we are talking about a 12-game Major League Baseball slate. We're going to use DraftKings as our jumping off point. Remember, this time of year, we are in the final week of MLB. We are dealing with September call-ups. We're dealing with teams out of the race who don't really care. And then we have teams who are very specifically in their playoff races who are still playing for their playoff lives. Think of a team like the Mets, who are, I think, still right now tied 4-4 with the Marlins. Last time I checked, if they do not lose tonight as we record on Thursday, then we in fact have them alive going into Thursday. On Tuesday night, they're still alive going into Wednesday, as they are available to potentially win out and have, I think, the Brewers lose out from there. So it's just multiple different pieces to think about and to try to piece together as you think about lineup construction and exactly where things might land. So we start off, Dave, at the top. You get DeGrom at 12K flat against the Marlins. Clearly one of the best plays potentially on the year, even at 12K. Bieber against the White Sox, equally as intriguing at 11.8. Morton, Greinke, Montes should be back from the injured list. And then Denilson Lamet is 10K. We'll get to sub 10K after that. Can we make a DeGrom Bieber lineup? Do you think that's possible? Can we figure out the right way to get both in the lineup and have an offense that actually fits into what we need to do on DK?
Probably not.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. You have what, 3 teams with totals above 6.2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 of them above 5, 10 of them above 5 right now. I think you're going to want to look towards offense. You got Porcello in Texas, a lefty in Montgomery against the Braves, who have crushed lefties. Smiley going up against the Nationals in DC. Houston's got Yusei Kikuchi. Boston has Colby Allard. Cleveland has Ross Detweiler. It seems like that probably is not going to work too well. Actually, I don't think there's any way you could do it. 3,200 remaining per player on DraftKings. Not happening.
We'll have some fun on Wednesday trying to build that. I'm going to have some fun trying to build that. But nonetheless, of the two, if you take DeGrom against the Marlins, Bieber on the road at the White Sox, do you have one you prefer simply based on season-long metrics and where they stand currently as September rolls on?
I mean, honestly, I like both of them. It's hard to find any faults here. Strikeout rates, 32%, 30.3%. DeGrom at 32, Bieber at 30.3. You have who else here? Or what else? Sorry, 3.12 xFIP for DeGrom, 3.2 for Bieber. The numbers go on. Seriously, if you just look at all of this, it only gets it stays really, really, really impressive for all of these guys. Super low walk rates for both pitchers. WHIP is through the floor. 0.99 for DeGrom, 1.03 for Bieber. Point is, you want to run through all of the stats here, you're pretty much going to find favorable numbers for all of them. DeGrom has a 15.4% swinging strike rate, Bieber 14. Bieber has a higher called plus swinging strike rate, but needless to say, you can't go wrong with either of these guys. I think I'd probably lean DeGrom here, just, at home against a Marlins team that really lacks any semblance of power. So I would lean DeGrom, but both of these guys are in premier spots, and I think you'll see a lot of popularity or a lot of ownership going towards both of them, just not in the same lineups.
Yeah, and I think that makes a ton of sense in lineup construction. Ownership matters here. If you see one pitcher owned vastly more than the other, both you should weave, or I should say zig the other way and try to get some more exposure to the other pitcher simply because ownership is going to be lower. They both have a ton of upside. Morton, Greinke, Montes, Lamet. Anybody here that stands out? Morton gets the Yankees, Greinke against Seattle, Montes against the Angels, and Lamet in San Diego against the Dodgers. Morton's had a really fine year. Yankees bats clearly have tons of upside. Seattle's been rough since pretty much April ended. And then you have Montes and Lamet. Anybody stand out of those four as a potential zig to the top two pitchers at DeGrom and Bieber?
Yeah, Lamet's thrown far fewer innings than DeGrom and Bieber, only 68. But he leads the slate with a 32.8% strikeout rate. So, I mean, it's obviously very, very solid. And he's done a good job of preventing power for the most part. 3.48 xFIP, 14.2% swinging strikes. The numbers are very good on Denilson Lamet. The big question, though, is just like, how are you going to pay for this guy when you've got DeGrom and Bieber up there against the Dodgers? There's just really no reason to do that. Frankie Montes hasn't pitched in 3 months now. He looked outstanding before hitting the DL, right? I mean, there's no question that he looked great. And it's not like he's coming back from an injury. He's coming back from a suspension. But at that price tag, again, you're going to be hard-pressed to argue that he's viable stacked up against Bieber and DeGrom. Same thing for Morton against the Yankees. And Greinke against Seattle is in a great spot. But, I mean, you just don't get even close to the same strikeout upside that you get from DeGrom or Shane Bieber. So there's no way I could pay even close to that for Greinke, knowing that while he's a very good pitcher, while he'll probably shut down this Seattle team, you're hoping for, 5 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts, and that's just not enough on this slate. So for all of those reasons, it's DeGrom, it's Bieber, and nobody else above 10K that really stands out, even if they're going to be super low owned.
Yeah, Montes suspended. I said IL earlier, suspended for 80 games. Claimed the typical, I didn't know what I was taking from last quote I saw, but will be someone to track from a season long and from a next year DFS perspective, how he fares in this start, whether or not Oakland makes a run in the playoffs or not, and how he performs there. Was one of the better starters in Major League Baseball before he went down. 9-2, 2.70 ERA, 97 strikeouts in 90 innings pitched, and gets a matchup with Angels team that is slowed by injuries. That is for certain. Soroka, Heaney, Anibal Sanchez is at 9,200. Make of that what you will. J.A. Happ is most likely a tandem pitcher with Chad Green here for the New York Yankees. Lester at 8,300. Duggar, Samardzija, Allard, Porcello, all above 7K. Let's take 10K down to 7K in this price point. Can't say anyone elicits a ton of confidence for me. You do have Oracle Park on the slate with Samardzija at 7,500. Heaney gets Oakland in Los Angeles, well, in Anaheim, I should say. And Soroka, I guess, in Kansas City might be a play. What do you like, or do you like anything here in the mid-tier?
Yeah, it's difficult to get here too. Honestly, I feel like if we're going to DeGrom or Bieber, and I think you want to get to one of these guys, you're probably going to want to get a little bit cheaper. I mean, the Phillies might run out another super watered down lineup. They're eliminated from playoff contention, but paying that much for Anibal Sanchez is definitely difficult to do. J.A. Happ expected to come in a relief role. I mean, excuse me, we're going to get 5 innings from him, 4 1/3 innings from him. That seems like you'd be overpaying an incredible amount. Andrew Heaney against an Oakland team that absolutely brutalizes left-handed pitching. It's funny because you got those 2 guys at the top that are just in fantastic spots, but outside of that, the mid-range feels pretty empty. The same thing for Mike Soroka. He's a stellar pitcher, but similar to Zach Greinke, do you really want to pay a premium for a guy that's not going to get you strikeouts? My answer is a pretty simple no. I think it's difficult, really. The question is how many pitches can Stripling throw? Well, short answer, you're going to throw 40 pitches. That sucks because if he was even at 85 or 80, he'd probably be one of our top options here. That's not the case. I think Jeff Samardzija is probably in play, even at this price. We'll get down a little bit lower, but it's not crazy to look at Samardzija and see him as a viable candidate to produce decent numbers against the Rockies team that has really struggled away from home. Best pitchers park known to man in San Francisco. So yeah, I'd really forego anybody in that 8 or 9K range just because none of them are really that good enough in their spots to pair with DeGrom, right? Let's just say you paired Anibal Sanchez with DeGrom. You do that, you only have 3,600 per player. Can you make a lineup? Sure, but it's going to be ugly. And my guess is that, some people will try and pay up for both pitchers, and you're all going to end up with very similar lineups. I don't see myself getting to anyone in that 8, 9K range.
Yep, and that makes a ton of sense. We have Duggar, Samardzija, Allard, Porcello, Smiley, Stripling, you talked about a little bit. Wogas back against Baltimore, 6,200. Ross Detweiler at 59. Melville against San Francisco is 56. Kikuchi at 5,200. Agrizal is 4,700. Now, Agrizal is the sort of name, well, I guess we can talk about, you mentioned Stripling already. Wogas back against Baltimore, probably worth putting a pin in. And Agrizal against Chicago here. This is a Cubs team that has all but fallen apart. You've had Rizzo with the injury. You've had Bryant with an injury. You've had an offense that's been inept, a pitching staff that has not really come through, a team that has fallen out of the wild card race. Do you make anything of Agrizal, Wogas back, or anybody sub 6,500 that you think should at least be on people's radars heading into this slate on Wednesday?
Yeah, that's That's tough. So, I mean, I'm not going to Drew Smiley here. Not going to Rick Porcello. Kobe Allard, no way. Like I said, Samardzija, I could see him being in play. I'll get down to these bottom guys in just a second. Robert Duggar, I don't see much need for that. Is Wagspack in play? I suppose you could make an argument for it. Yeah, just because there really isn't that much available elsewhere. The numbers you get from him are 18.5% K rate. It's not pretty. 1.5 home runs per nine, a 5.24 xFIP. Like these numbers are the furthest thing from encouraging. Single digit swinging strike rate, and the list goes on. It would really just come down to, what can he do against Baltimore? I want to see what the lineup looks like for Baltimore, see what type of strikeouts are in it, because they've run out some lineups recently that haven't been that bad.
Yep.
But if it's watered down towards the end of the year, which is very possible, it could look real ugly, and he could be an option. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to Detweiler against Cleveland. I can't see that being an option. Like, do you go to Tim Melville against Colorado or San Francisco? It's possible. He's been hammered at home in 4 starts, 2 starts on the road. He's 2-0. Not that the win-loss matters, but 2.13 ERA. He's actually been very good outside of Coors. Take it for what it's worth. Might not be worth anything, but I think at that price point against San Francisco, he actually is a viable option. And really, the reason for that is you're not playing Kikuchi against Houston.
Right.
Agrizal, I know you mentioned the injuries to that Cubs team, but he has, maybe the worst strikeout stuff of any starting pitcher in the game right now. I mean, it's dreadful. He has a 12% strikeout rate and a 6% swinging strike rate. You can't even make that up. You couldn't create that player. That's how bad it is. So, you get down to all of these options, and it gets pretty ugly pretty fast. And I'll throw Gabriel Ynoa out there. He threw 77 pitches last time. He is the bare minimum. If you get 10 to 15 from him, it might be all you need. And assuming you pair him with DeGrom, now you've got 42.50 remaining per player, and it definitely opens things up. So, look, on a slate like this, I think you have DeGrom and Bieber that are just clear-cut options at the top. After that, though, it's really not that pretty at all. You would think for a 12-gamer we'd have more to fall back on, but you kind of don't, Dan. And I think that would be, some reason at least to look at, and say, well, he's the dead man.
Right.
There really isn't that much above him that you'd feel good about. I'll throw caution to the wind and run him out there in some tournament lineups.
Well, I think you make the point we've talked about many times over the 6 years we've been doing this together is DK, especially Yahoo now as well. You're paying for 2 pitchers. You have to think of them as a combined effort,
right?
Not necessarily as a single one-off. And so trying to figure out who you're going to pair with either Bieber or DeGrom matters a lot here. You talk about Agrizal, 5.8% K minus walk ratio. Not going to get it done. In fact, so much that you have to go to the second page over on FanGraphs. Whenever you have to make that second page move, it's not going to be a good day.
It's probably not good. And by the way, real quick, you mentioned that it's a pairing. It's it's a combination of this. To me, the simple answer is, well, maybe I'll go down and get 2 mid-range guys. Well, even that doesn't work because there's no good mid-range options.
Right. And I think that's even further to the point of finding your best 2 options at a certain, if you want to say it's 20,000 total on DraftKings, or if it's 15,000, whatever number you want to put on that, if you want to put a cap on it and see what your best output is, obviously somewhere like Osmo has projections and can do that. If you're a single lineup builder, we have Osmo's lineup builder, which is available for Osmo Plus folks. But that gives you an idea of 2 combined, how to put it together. 2 pitchers give you the most upside on DK. On FanDuel, to quickly run through these price points, doesn't seem like anything is all that crazy, to be quite honest. Over there is a situation where price points align pretty well with what DraftKings is doing on this slate. You have DeGrom and Bieber at the top end, not too surprising there. No price points that really jump out as anybody who would be extremely off the radar, or guys who overall would be someone who seem to stand out, but it is a single pitcher site. and a site that seems to be one where you have to figure out pitching because of quality start and what they offer as price points. DeGrom 11.9, Bieber at 11.5, same situation. Soroka at 8.4 against Kansas City. Lamet at 8.3 against the Dodgers. Samardzija at 7.1. Wogespak at 6,100 against Baltimore. And Lambert is at 5,500. So any takeaways there from the names I mentioned on FanDuel, Lofty, is guys that you think it seems all the same. They seem very similar price points. Not exactly, but at least comparatively to DraftKings.
No, I'm just going to start with the two guys up top and see what happens. I don't see much use in trying to get further down on this slate now.
Fantastic. So offenses, quickly here, stacks or individual one-offs that stand out to you in this slate. Do you see anyone who stands out the most of all?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. I'll make it quick. Boston against Allard, Houston against Kikuchi, Cleveland against Detweiler, Washington against Smiley. I love all of them. Oh, and Atlanta against Montgomery. I'll throw Texas in there against Porcello, too. There are a few teams I really like. All of them stand out as great stacks, which, again, is why Gabriel Ynoa makes sense and why you might even look towards a guy like Melville because you're going to want to pay for good hitters here.
Yep, I think that makes a ton of sense. You have some high totals, as Lofty was talking about. I will be honest, I'm going to have some fun building a Bieber and DeGrom lineup just to see if I can do it, just to see if I can get there and build an actual lineup that has starting players at each position. I don't know that I'll be able to at 32.5 per position, but it's going to be fun trying to do it. That's for me to do, not for you all to do. I think Dave's right. You find one of those two that you like and then mix and match at the lower end. Maybe even mix and match Bieber and DeGrom, depending on how you're playing. If you're playing multiple lineups, that's going to matter as well. Any final thoughts on this slate, Dave, before you say so long?
That'll do it, man. Good luck today, and we'll see you back here on the next one.
To Lofty, enjoy Lambo. Safe
Thanks,
drive.
brother.
I assume you're driving. Are you driving, flying? What are we doing?
What's that?
Are you driving, flying? How are you getting out there?
Driving. Yeah, I'm flying. Come on now.
I don't. You might be a road trip guy. You might like driving in a car with a bunch of dudes. I don't know.
I do like road trips, but no, we're flying.
All right. So flying out, safe flight. We'll find Dave back here on the DFS Early Bird next week. You can find him on all of our shows, obviously, into the weekend. Sirius XM, Sirius 210, XM 87 with Manny Laura. About, I'll say 93% of the time. You get a great show from the two of them each and every time out for Awesome Out Radio over there. Find them on Twitter at Lofty_D, LOUGHY _. Wow. I was so close. I was so close to finishing it there. LOUGHY_D. Myself at Dan Strafford. And of course, it's Awesemo_com. As I say every episode, we have tons of free giveaways over there. So follow that handle for free Awesemo content. With that said, best of luck on this Wednesday slate. We'll see you back here on the DFS Early Bird, presented by Awesemo.com.